Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. You can watch this program live on our Facebook page, Radyo Pilipinas World Service, and you can also catch up this program later in the evening. And also, you can hear us live on our audio streaming at Evox PBS receiver app. So join us for another edition of Front and Center with your host, Jerome Toledo.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Corruption remains as one of the long-standing problems of the government, and foreign nations like the United States are noticing this. And in fact, in a U.S. State Department report, namely the 2025 Investment Climate Statements, it reported that despite the Philippine government's effort to fight corruption, it is still being felt and it is becoming one of the major barriers to investment in the country. And under the Section 8 of the said 2025 report, the Bureau of Customs is considered to be one of the most corrupt agencies in the country. That's according to the report released by the U.S. State Department. And under Section 3 of the report, it says that some American investors describe business registration, customs, and immigration processes as burdensome. And U.S. Embassy here in Manila in the Philippines has received multiple reports from U.S. businesses of overly invasive searches, inconsistent customs charges, and solicitation of what they call facilitation fees, or for instance, bribes from some customs official. So how the Bureau of Customs addresses this report, and what are the reforms being implemented to address the corruption in the Bureau? So to give us a more detailed response regarding that report coming from the U.S. State Department 2025 Investment Climate Statements, we have now on the line the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Office of the Commissioner of Bureau of Customs, Attorney Chris Bendijo. Good morning, Attorney Chris Bendijo. This is Jerome Toledo of the program Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Good morning.
Hi, Sir Jerome. Good morning. Thank you for having me in your program.
Okay, so yesterday, a report that was reported by the Philippine Star, quoting the report from the State Department, saying that the Bureau of Customs is considered to be one of the most corrupt agencies in the country. What is the official response of BOC regarding this report and this remark, Attorney Bendijo?
Well, first of all, no, we take note of the report coming from the U.S. State Department. In fact, we itemized the areas of concern there. No, for instance, regarding unofficial fees, inconsistent fees, overly invasive searches. No, and we take note of all of these observations. But before we officially respond, if I may just place some context, Commissioner Ariel Pomoceno was just recently, fairly newly appointed in July, no? So 3 months into the job. And what we'd like to point out is that even before the release of this U.S. State Department report, if we will look at the issuances within the first 100 days of Commissioner Ariel Pomoceno, all the issuances, all the policy directions already address these matters. For instance, no, if I may go item per item.
Yeah, sure.
Regarding the overly intrusive searches and audits conducted. On the first week of Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno, he already issued a suspension of the implementation of all letters of authority and mission orders because of the complaints that we've been receiving from the business community
Mm-hmm.
that these are being utilized as tools to harass legitimate establishments. If we go to your unofficial fees and inconsistent fees, this is really addressed by the issuances regarding the no-take policy, our anti-conflict of interest policy,
Mm-hmm.
and other good governance issuances from Commissioner Ariel. So the point is that yes, we take note of the report that was released, I believe, September, last week of September
Yes, that's right.
2025. But what we'd like to say is that even before this report, the issuances of the BOC already addressed the matters raised in the report. So, what we're trying to say is that I think it's advantageous that Commissioner Nepomuceno had already an idea coming from the BOC years before. And what we'd like to say is that
Mm-hmm.
we're just asking for a little more time, no,
Mm-hmm.
from the public, from our stakeholders. We'd like to we'd like everybody to be part of this transformation of the BOC. But to go back to your question,
Mm-hmm.
we take note of the observations, but we'd like to say that we've already addressed some of these through our issuances. But as you are aware of, no,
Mm-hmm.
transformation does not go overnight. It does not come that easy. So perhaps, hopefully, with the direction of the new management of the new BOC commissioner, we can really make this transformation come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so transformation and changes in the Bureau of Customs doesn't go overnight. It would need a lot of effort to make it happen, Attorney Bendijo. Okay, so following this U.S. State Department report, has the Bureau conducted investigation regarding the corrupt practices there? If so, how many customs officials have we charged, suspended, or dismissed so far?
Well, with respect to the investigation, as a result of the Blue Ribbon Committee, as well as other investigations, even of the ICI, we looked into the importations of the luxurious vehicles of the personalities being investigated, and we've issued show cause orders for these. With respect to new personalities, as
Mm.
you're aware of, the commissioner brought in a new team, including myself.
Mm.
So hopefully, with the new team, with the direction being given by the commissioner regarding good governance, no corrupt practices, and of course, our main function of revenue generation, hopefully we can create this change in mindsets, in culture,
Mm-hmm.
that really whatever practice has been what was done before as a common practice should be avoided. We cannot emphasize enough how many times the commissioner has raised these direction insofar as good governance is concerned, with respect to our execoms, our mancoms, even our collectors conferences, just to remind everybody that not during commissioner's time will he tolerate any form of corrupt practice.
Okay. All right. Going back to what you mentioned earlier about the suspension of the mission order. So is this is continuing process? Is that correct, Attorney Bendio?
Well, at present, what we did is that we limited the issuances of the mission orders and the letters of authority. First order of business was to conduct an inventory of those that have been issued prior to commissioner's time, to
Mm-hmm.
conduct an audit as to what are the stages of these, what were the basis for the issuances of these, and it's being well, the audit is still being generated, it's being looked into. But from the very first week, we immediately suspended the implementation of mission orders and letters of authority. Again, the complaint coming from the business community is that these are tools being used to harass legitimate businesses. Now, what we're trying to emphasize is that yes, we take note of the observations of the report, but this is the type of leadership that Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno brings to the BOC. It is a type of leadership that listens to the stakeholders. This is a type of leadership that complaints really are acted upon. And if you know Commissioner Ariel, he's a very hands-on leader. No? So
Right.
whenever there are complaints, he personally attends to them, from the concerns regarding the balikbayan boxes,
Mm.
concerns regarding the tax estimator, and other concerns. he personally addresses them and attends meetings, even with the complainants, because
Mm.
that's the type of leadership that Commissioner Ariel brings to the BOC.
I see. Okay, so to attend the complaints of our foreign business community. So, is there any mechanism that the Bureau of Customs implemented to encourage whistleblowing?
That's correct. But we will be formalizing this more in the coming weeks. We are trying to imitate the what the president has done, yung isumbong sa pangulo. So
Mm,
we're trying to imitate that and come up with our own version, so that any and all corrupt practices in the bureau can be reported there and it will be acted upon. But
mm,
of course, what we're trying to advocate for is complaints which can be verified, complaints which can be sort of they're actionable, is the legal
mm,
term for it. No? So hopefully, through the participation of our stakeholders, mutual policing from both ends, from the BOC as well as the private sector, hopefully we can really put this transformation into motion so that we
mm.
can have a Bureau of Customs that would have regained the trust of the public eventually.
So it will be a multi-platform approach. For example, if we're going to implement a mechanism, not only it will be found on BOC website, but also it will be implemented on social media platforms, so that the business communities can easily file a complaint or whistleblow a irregularity in the Bureau of Customs.
That's correct. For now, what's being implemented is through our complaint section. You can email it at complaint@customs.gov.ph or directly to boc.ocom@customs.gov.ph.
Mm-hmm.
But these are just really your typical email complaint system. So what the
Mm-mm.
commissioner is trying to establish is a proactive response mechanism
Mm-mm.
that can address real time the complaints of our stakeholders.
Mm-mm.
So again, it is a type of leadership that listens to the stakeholders, that prioritizes integrity, and of course, the ultimate goal here really is to regain the public trust.
The public trust. Okay, so yeah, having a mechanism of that kind is, I think, it's an improvement by itself. But what are some other improvements that have been made in the Bureau of Customs to ensure transparency and consistency in duties and inspections, Attorney Bendio?
Well, if you'll notice, um, we have issued memorandum already regarding, for example, the condemnation process,
Mm,
us requiring it to be live streamed and fully recorded, which will be eventually published on the website.
mm,
So what we're saying is that we're gearing towards a full transparency platform, meaning to say that whatever process that may be, if it can be subjected to public disclosure, public live streaming, for example, full recording, so that all
mm,
actions, all processes are, easily visible to the public. That's what we're gearing towards, because
mm,
really, complication of the processes, the lack of information about it makes it doubtful as far as public perception is concerned. So
mm,
by having a live stream, by fully recording the process, it removes the doubt. But these are really just the short-term solutions. As
mm,
espoused and advocated for by the commissioner, really the long-term and most definite solution is the full automation and digitalization, which is already in motion.
mm,
The BOC is in receipt of an unsolicited proposal from a proponent regarding the customs payment system.
mm,
And if everything will be automated, there is reduced or minimized human intervention, reduced or minimized exercise of discretion, then we do away or at least eliminate corruption practices in the Bureau.
mm. And that's one of the things that the Bureau of Customs is implementing to ensure transparency and accountability, and at the same time. So, because these businesses are complaining about this because it affects their their chances of investing here in the country if they found the systems at the customs very inefficient. So that's what they are addressing, Attorney Bendijo. Okay, so having said that, this report was released late September. Has BOC reached out to international partners to address this?
Of course. Still, we have strengthened our partnerships from different chambers. We still have our Customs Industry Consultative and Advisory Council.
Mm-mm.
We've had different federations. This is an ongoing dialogue. Again, the type of leadership that Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno brings to the BOC is a leadership that listens to its stakeholders. We cannot just simply implement policy that it will be ineffective because it cannot be implemented.
Mm.
It has to be a policy that balances both the functions of trade facilitation, border
Mm.
security, without, however, sacrificing the ease of doing business for our stakeholders.
Mm.
Like,
Right.
for example, our accreditation before would only have a 1 year validity. So every year, it is burdensome for our stakeholders to keep on renewing
Mm.
their accreditation as importers. Again, the commissioner has already issued policy to extend the validity to 3 years
Mm.
because really, in any business environment, stability is key. The more stable the processes are, the more dependable these processes are, the
Mm.
more that you espouse businesses to invest because they have stability.
Mm.
If you extend the accreditation as importer, the validity to 3 years, at least they have 3 years to have stability without worrying about the renewal, without worrying about the
Mm.
expiration of their licenses. This is the environment that the new BOC commissioner wants to have in this administration.
Mm. I wonder, Attorney Bendijo. So, is the process in the BOC still still in its manual manual operations? How soon are we getting there in implementing a fully automatic operations or digitalized operations of the BOC?
Well, at this point, what I can say is that I think we're still in the very early phases of automation.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even full automation can perhaps be fully implemented. Maybe it's no longer the term of Commissioner Ariel, but the long-term
Mm-hmm.
solution really is full automation. Now, there is existing system in place, but it's already old and obsolete. If you'll notice, for example, the lodging of our entries really
Mm-hmm.
slowed down because of the sheer volume of entries being done. So really, there is a need to upgrade. But of course, there were legal obstacles in the interim.
Mm-hmm.
There were
Right.
temporary restraining orders issued.
Mm-hmm.
But what's nice about the present situation is that the unsolicited proposal involves the parties who were part of that original case who requested for the issuance of a TRO. So maybe this is the time to move forward. Maybe this is the first step to
Mm-hmm.
really achieving digitalization and full automation of the BOC processes. And that's what we're hardly working on.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, the technical evaluation can be done even within the month of October.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, negotiations for the intended original proponent can be done early November.
I see. And that's something Filipinos can look forward to. And also the international business community. By the way, so aside from coordinating with our international partners, do we have any coordination with our other national government agencies to streamline the customs process and at the same time reduce bureaucracy aside from other agencies that we have in partnership?
Well, Jerome, there's an advantage and disadvantage to that. No?
Mm.
Of course, the reduced number of interaction with government agencies would really expedite processes.
Mm.
But we really have to accept the fact that there are processes which we cannot deprive other agencies from participating in. For example, when it comes to agricultural products, for example, when it comes to vehicles,
Mm.
we really need that check and balance mechanism with other government agencies to ensure that there is no smuggling activity, to
Mhm.
ensure that proper duties and taxes are paid by the importers, to ensure that the items declared are actually the items found inside the shipment. So, I agree with you. We
Mm.
have collaborations with different government agencies. We have, as far as practicable, streamlined processes,
Mm.
the requirement, if possible, if it can be a one-stop shop. Um, like for instance, in with respect to the luxurious vehicles, the
Mm. Right.
commissioner has already suspended the temporary release process
Mm.
without first securing the ATRIC. This is the authority to release imported goods from the BIR. This is an example of a check and balance mechanism between the BOC and the BIR to ensure that proper duties and taxes are paid. So, again, we agree with the concept that, as far as practical, reduce the interactions, involvement of other government agencies. But existing policies have been streamlined to
Mm.
ensure that whatever is unnecessary or redundant processes that exist in the system
Mm.
are eliminated and removed.
I see. Okay, and nonetheless, BOC is striving hard to implement changes and at the same time promote transparency and accountability, and at the same time streamlining processes at the Bureau of Customs, and it doesn't happen overnight. So the BOC is asking for public support regarding the changes implemented at the Bureau of Customs, which is headed by Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno, Attorney Bendio.
That's correct. What we're asking for is that it's not our way of what you call hugas kamay, no? It's not our way. It's not an alibi on our part.
Mm.
But being judged for decades of improper or inefficient practices, it's a bit unfair also to the commissioner.
Mm.
So what we're saying is that in the first 100 days, you can already observe the direction of the administration of the new commissioner,
Yeah.
Ariel Nepomuceno.
Mm.
But again, because change does not happen overnight, what we're asking for is for everybody, the public, the stakeholders, to join this opportunity to
Mm.
transform the bureau. This is the time, under the leadership of Commissioner Ariel, for us to really regain integrity, to regain the public trust. Because the moment we are able to do that, the moment that we are able to establish stable processes inside the bureau,
Mm.
then trade facilitation comes in, business investments will come in, and of course that will really strengthen and enhance our economy.
Mm, I see. Okay, very well said. And I take that as a final message coming from you, Attorney Chris Bendio. By the way, thank you so much for joining us in the program, and I hope it will be, this issue will be cleared as of this time. So changes are happening in the Bureau of Customs. Thank you so much, Attorney Chris Bendio, the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Office of the Commissioner of the Bureau of Customs. Thank you for joining us in the program, and have a good day.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Good morning.
And that was Attorney Chris Bendio, the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Office of the Commissioner of Ariel Nepomuceno at the Bureau of Customs. And with that interview, we now conclude this edition of Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service, together with our technical team headed by Mr. Milo Janela and Hiro Lucero and Mr. Leo Magpayo. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.